Hey everyone, it's Julie here again. It's a calm morning in early October. The air feels cool, the sunlight's soft, and the whole city seems quieter than usual. I've just finished watering my little balcony garden, and while the soil is still damp and the leaves are glistening, I thought I'd take you with me for a short walk around the garden, just to see how everything is doing this month. October has always been one of my favorite months for gardening. The weather is gentle, the plants grow slower but stronger, and every morning feels like a small reward. The cabbages I planted a few weeks ago are finally starting to form their round, tight heads. The tomatoes. Oh, they've shot up fast. They're about a meter tall now. Thick stems, strong leaves, and tiny buds are just starting to show. No flowers yet, but I can already feel they're getting ready. My climbing beans are also blooming now. Their white blossoms are small but lively, swaying in the breeze. The air smells faintly of soil and leaves, the scent only a gardener could love. I still keep all the old pots from summer: cilantro, green onions, basil, and the little patch of spinach that somehow survived the heat. They're doing great. Darker leaves, stronger stems, and I think that's because of the organic fertilizer I've been using lately. This month, I changed my routine a bit. Instead of using store-bought liquid fertilizer, I've started combining Japanese chicken manure pellets with my own homemade compost from kitchen waste. The chicken manure pellets are small, clean, and surprisingly low in smell. I sprinkle a handful around the base of each pot, the cabbages, tomatoes, beans, then cover it lightly with soil. Within a few days, I can see the difference. The soil becomes fluffier, darker, and the plants turn a richer shade of green. The homemade compost, though, that's my pride. Every day after cooking, I collect vegetable scraps, fruit peels, eggshells, coffee grounds, and even the rice water. I toss everything into a small bucket with a lid and let it break down for 3 to 4 weeks. When it's ready, it looks like dark, crumbly earth. Smells a bit earthy. Not bad at all, like forest soil after rain. I mix that with potting soil and spread a thin layer around the plants. It's not fancy, but it works beautifully. The plants seem to respond, as if they can feel the love and patience that went into that compost. This morning, the first thing I looked at was the cabbage patch. The outer leaves are folding in, slowly wrapping around the heart. When I touch them, they feel firm and cool. The kind of freshness that makes you want to harvest right away, though I know it's not time yet. Next to them are the tomato plants. They're about waist-high, tall, and proud, with thick stems and fresh green leaves. I use soft ties to support them against the bamboo frame, just to keep them from leaning too much. I prune the lower leaves every few days to keep the airflow good and reduce the chance of fungus. And guess what? I saw the first tiny flower buds this morning. Still green and closed, but that's a sign the plant is strong enough to start fruiting soon. I remember the first time I ever saw a tomato flower bloom. It was small, bright yellow, and honestly, it made me stop and smile for a good minute. For gardeners like us, that little moment feels like a reward after weeks of care. The bean trellis is full of energy this month. The vines have climbed high, almost reaching the top rail. Every morning, I gently guide them so they spread evenly. The white flowers keep appearing, and if the weather stays good, I'll have beans to harvest in a few weeks. I added a little wood ash and some of that compost to their soil, and the roots seem to love it. And here's something new. I've added 2 fruit trees to my balcony garden this month: a Thai apple tree and a green plum tree. Both are dwarf varieties, perfect for containers. I designed their pots myself, reused old plastic bins, drilled drainage holes, added a layer of coconut husk, and filled them with a mix of garden soil, chicken manure pellets, and kitchen compost. When I placed them in the corner where sunlight hits for most of the day, it felt like my balcony suddenly came alive. The Thai apple has shiny, dark green leaves that rustle in the wind. The green plum tree is more delicate, its leaves a lighter shade, soft and gentle. I planted them just over a week ago, and both have already settled in nicely. Every morning I give them a light watering, just enough to keep the soil moist but not soggy. Seeing them side by side, I can't help but smile. Like 2 new friends just joined the little garden family. Having a balcony garden means you have to plan carefully. Space is precious, so I arrange my pots by height. Tall plants in the back, short herbs in the front, so each one gets enough light. In the morning, when the sun rises, the whole place glows. I walk slowly from pot to pot, checking each leaf, each bud. Some mornings I find a new leaf unfolding, and that's enough to make my day. Gardening is more than just watering and feeding. It's about connection. Sometimes I'm too busy to spend much time here, but even 5 minutes on the balcony helps me slow down. I notice which leaves are drying, which ones are new, and even the tiny insects crawling on the soil. It's quiet, grounding, and deeply peaceful. Of course, not every day is perfect. Some days, heavy rain makes the soil too wet and the tomato leaves start to droop. I move the pots closer to the wall, let them dry out, and sprinkle a bit of rice husk to absorb moisture. The first time it happened, I panicked. Now I've learned to stay calm. Plants, like people, have their ups and downs. The key is patience and steady care. I've also learned that timing your fertilizer really matters. For chicken manure pellets, I apply them every 2 weeks, just a small handful each time. Afterward, I water lightly to help them break down slowly. As for the homemade compost, I mix it into the soil once a month to keep the nutrients steady. Since doing this, my greens have become lush, and my tomatoes grow strong without curling leaves. Late afternoon, when the sun softens, I often sit out here with a cup of tea. The golden light spills across the leaves, and everything feels calm. I can hear birds somewhere far away, and the gentle rustle of my plants in the breeze. Moments like that remind me why I started gardening in the first place. You see, it's not about how much you harvest. It's about the quiet joy of watching life grow, day by day. When I started, I used to worry. Are the plants growing too slow? Did I water too much? Now, I've learned to trust the process. Gardening teaches patience. It teaches observation and gratitude for the simplest things. Every corner of my October garden has its own little story. The cabbages curling tighter each day, the tomatoes waiting for their first bloom, the bean flowers swaying in the breeze, and the 2 fruit trees standing quietly like new hope. When I water them, it feels like I'm not just feeding the plants, I'm feeding a piece of myself. If you've ever tended even one pot of herbs, you'll know what I mean. A small balcony can still hold so much life. Give your plants sunlight, water, and just a bit of love, and they'll surprise you. This month, my plan is simple. Keep the care routine steady, watch for the first tomato flowers, and keep an eye on those baby fruit trees. I can already imagine the day when they bear their first tiny fruits. Even if it's just 1 apple or 1 plum, that'll be enough to make me proud. My garden isn't perfect. Some leaves get spots, some plants grow slower than others, but it's real. It's alive. And every morning when I step out onto my balcony, take a deep breath and see all this green, I feel like the day has already started right. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you're also growing something, maybe just a few herbs or a pot of tomatoes, share it in the comments. I'd love to see your garden, hear your stories, and maybe learn a new trick or two from you. I'll see you again in the next video, when my tomato flowers are in full bloom, and maybe the November garden will bring even more surprises. I'm Julie, and this was my little October balcony garden story.